Okay. Well, we have, as far as I know, a first here. I've never seen a Christian hand puppet channel before, so let's see what he has to say.
Christians like to think that because atheists lack a belief in God, they're left without answers to certain questions about the metaphysical aspect of the universe.
I wonder what Christians you're talking to, because you always say things that just plain aren't true, at least Christians who read the Bible and understand God's point of view. Now, we don't say that you don't have answers. We know what your answer is. You deny the existence of anything metaphysical.
And I
I don't see how people lacking belief in any god inherently must deny everything that is metaphysical. Obviously, people have a basic conception of reality, so there are at least some metaphysical ideas that any given person accepts, and this doesn't force them to accept the same metaphysical ideas. Not the best start here.
I think Christians are in the exact same boat.
Well, if you mean that we both have answers, sure. We say it exists and you don't. But as far as having a reason for it, no. We're not in the same boat at all.
This is
By it, I'm assuming he means the existence of the universe. If that's true, then I question why having a reason for the universe existing is at all necessary or even preferable to just saying, I don't know. Or rather, I question what outside of a feeling that it ought to have a reason indicates that some reason actually exists.
part one of questions Christians cannot answer.
So if Christians actually answer your video, that means you can't do a part two. Even if you don't like our answer, that means we still disproved you because we answered it.
I see that the girl whose clips are being used left herself open by making an absolute statement, but pointing out that you can always technically give an answer isn't a good serious argument against her position. I really hope that that point was meant to be a joke.
First up, who created God?
No one, but you know that.
Christians say everything needs a creator.
No, all creation needs a creator. The creator himself always existed.
Except when it comes to God. They'll say that God is the first uncaused cause.
No, we don't say he's the first, we just call him the uncaused cause. Saying that he's first implies a timeline onto God himself. There was no beginning with him, he just always was. He's outside time. That's the point that Peter makes in this passage, and that's the point that God makes by calling himself I am. He is the God who just simply is.
So, why should those properties not be applicable to some currently unknown state of the universe itself? Why is the category of creation useful when it apparently applies to the entire universe? God being outside of space and time means God is not within the universe, but the universe is everything we are capable of observing. Ultimately, there needs to be some justification for the assumptions that the universe had a cause and that that cause was God.
But that's just special pleading.
No, it's not.
How come the biblical God gets to be the first uncaused cause?
Again, not first, the only, but because he said he was. That's why he gets to be.
What evidence do we have to support that?
I have God's word, which has proven itself true so much in my life that the parts where I don't have any direct evidence, I can take on faith. He's proven himself trustworthy.
Why
Well, unfortunately for our puppet host, personal experience is inherently personal and non repeatable in nature, so it cannot be used as evidence for a claim. His personal experience cannot justify the previously mentioned assumptions because it's indistinguishable from a claim with no basis. The Bible itself is also a set of claims, and so is not evidence for the existence of God. And this is why the lady in the clip asserts that the claims of God as being uncaused while the universe was caused is special pleading. The only justifications available are founded in further claims. Improperly treating the Bible as evidence for its own claims is also circular reasoning, by the way.
can't the universe itself be the first uncaused cause?
Because it violates all of the laws of the universe itself. You cannot have nothing explode into everything without a source acting on it. That's literally the laws of physics.
Now, that's a false dichotomy. The universe not having a cause does not simply imply it coming from nothing. Nothing is a rather dubious concept that might not even be coherent, for one. Primarily, however, models of the universe existing prior to 13.8 billion years ago do not defy the laws of physics at all. These models are hard to test, it might not be possible to confirm with the currently available technology we have, but that doesn't make them invalid, it only makes their truth value unknown.
Because something that needed to be intelligent enough to create, theoretically, the entire universe must have also had a creator.
And what's your evidence that it had to? See, you're just saying that it does because it makes sense in your mind, but you don't have any mathematical or metaphysical or philosophical reasons to say why it has to have a beginning. No, it doesn't. Just because you can't comprehend it doesn't mean it isn't true. 300 years ago, we couldn't even comprehend traveling to another planet. Now we have whole genres about it.
As a believer, you can't claim that this rule that everything needs a creator applies to everything and then exempt your favorite deity.
Yes, we can, because he's outside time, he's self-sufficient, and does not require a beginning. And he said so. If he is the one we're following, why wouldn't we take his word for it?
Given the justifications already presented, this is just another use of unsubstantiated claims to verify other claims. I do find it interesting that the Christian host questions the need for an intelligent entity to be created, because I very much agree with that questioning. I suppose the main difference between mine and his views is that I don't think intelligent life required creation either, while he would discriminate God from humanity in this question. It'd be interesting to know if he could produce any justifications besides the ones he already mentioned here for that particular choice.
Atheists say the exact same thing, but we make absolutely no exceptions.
Except at the Big Bang, right? You say there was nothing exploded into everything, and then just happened to be perfectly orchestrated to create not only life, but advanced, intelligent, sentient life on this one little planet. And potentially, in your mind, many others. There could be, other aliens out there somewhere. So, no, you do have an exception. It is called the Big Bang.
The Big Bang model does not entail the universe emerging from nothing. That entire explanation was a straw man, because, as I mentioned earlier, a number of models exist which are both compatible with the current theories used in physics and don't require the universe coming from nothing.
It violates everything we know about physics.
We're comfortable in the realm of we don't know or we don't know yet.
What's funny is that you accuse us of just using God to fill in the gaps and say, well, God did it, but you do the same thing with that. Now, I applaud the honesty of saying we don't know or we don't know yet, but there's a lot of hubris, a lot of pride in saying that literally everything in the universe can one day be explained by science. What if it's outside the universe, like God?
What was that even supposed to mean? How can something inside the universe be outside the universe? As for that bit about hubris, I'll suggest that science has earned any hubris it may contain, because the lives of people everywhere have been and are being continuously improved by it for several centuries of time now. If Christianity ever manages to make a repeatable, testable prediction, verify it, and demonstrate some phenomenon of reality using it, then I might consider the assumption that everything can be one day explained wrong, but I'm not holding my breath for that.
For some reason, Christians cling to this God of the Gaps fallacy,
I don't think you know what God of the Gaps is.
insisting that they know the answer to the question and that it was in fact God.
That's called faith. He said he did it. We believe him because he's proven himself trustworthy in other areas.
So apparently this needs to be said. Faith is not logical. God of the Gaps is indeed a logical fallacy. Its usage, being faith-motivated, does not change that. Specifically, faith does not change that the lack of a current explanation for something doesn't validate the assertion of an action of God for that something existing. I'll again point out that faith motivated by personal experience cannot be evidence-based, because personal experience is strictly personal and not repeatable.
When has your nothingness spontaneously exploded in order to prove itself trustworthy? That's exactly what happened.
But that is just deciding an answer with absolutely zero evidence.
Just because you come to a different conclusion on the evidence doesn't mean it isn't there. The Bible itself is evidence.
No, it's not. The Bible is a set of claims. Evidence, in the scientific sense that is clearly being used here, is objectively verifiable data gotten from tests outside of the human mind. That's not what the Bible itself is.
Now you can say, well, someone made it up, and that's fine, but it still is evidence even if you come to a different conclusion. I can point at all of nature and how everything fits, how the earth is in the Goldilocks zone, and how if your cells didn't have a conveyor system, and if males and females didn't develop at the same time, and if our DNA was off by even 0.1%, nothing would live.
What a load of BS. The Bible does not contain any scientific explanations of the world, and, when read literally, flatly contradicts many of them. Earth being in the Goldilocks zone of the sun is explainable by nothing further than the anthropic principle. If it weren't, and, say, Venus was instead, we'd be living on Venus right now. Earth having the conditions for life to exist isn't some statistical anomaly. The fact that life exists on it shows that it must have them. As for the claims about biology, I'd ask what evidence he has that a different sort of life couldn't come to exist if the conditions he mentioned were different, but I think I can easily dismiss all the claims by pointing out that talking about the simultaneous development of males and females as a coincidence shows that the puppet video maker knows absolutely nothing about evolution.
All those things have to happen at the same time in order for all of it to work. There's lots of evidence, you just don't like our conclusion.
So the question remains, who created God?
Nope, it doesn't remain at all. We're very solid in understanding that he is who he is. He always was. He is the great I am.
And what evidence do you have to support this claim that an atheist can't also use to support their claim that it was the universe?
God's word.
Well, granted, I'm not familiar with all the passages of the Bible that talk about people who could be interpreted as atheists, but does the video maker here really expect anyone who doesn't believe in the Bible to accept yet another claim based on it? The girl's question does still stand, because no evidence has been presented that this metaphysical principle of causality doesn't apply to God. If the claim, then, is that God is untestable, then the conversation is over, because science only applies to those things which are testable, and only science has shown genuine explanatory and predictive capability about the characteristics and phenomena of the universe.
So that's it for this one, guys. This is one of my favorite topics, and I am genuinely interested to see what you guys come up with in the comments. If you agree with me, let me know. If not, let me know what your explanation is and what evidence you do have to support that. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
So I highly doubt she'll watch any of the videos that Christians have been making, because even though she says that no Christians can answer, it's very unlikely she's actually listening to what Christians have to say in their answers. So you're welcome to go to her site and comment. Go ahead. But be prepared, because atheists get very angry when you challenge their God of nothingness.
Nice bait, man. Well, I will say that this video is far less brash than most apologetics videos are, and contained only really a sprinkling of the standard logical fallacies, so better than average. Still very wrong on a number of topics, but then what are these exchanges useful for if nothing other than people maybe learning something new? Thanks for watching.